to talk about why good dads let their kids play combat sports. And it doesn't really matter what age they are. And I know right now you're imagining your kids potentially in a boxing arena, or maybe they're doing jiu-jitsu, or maybe they're wrestling, and you're thinking, man, I don't know if I could really deal with that. And I was in the same position that you were. Now I have 4 boys and they all wrestle, and one of them likes it, the other 3 do not, but we kind of force them to do it. And when we first started getting into wrestling, it was wild. Do not underestimate how you will feel when your kids start to play a combat sport, because your heart is just racing all the time and you're watching your kid participate, and they're in matches and they're having some struggles, and that struggle is real. So don't get me wrong, I know exactly how you feel. But in a combat sport, your child is going to learn so much about themselves. They're going to overcome adversity. They're going to get mentally tough. They're going to get physically tough. And if you could be that dad who is encouraging them along the way and helping them understand there's no such thing as failure, even if you're getting your butt kicked, you can look for some victories in those moments. You will teach your kids discipline and focus. Combat sports are incredibly technical. You have to be a really dedicated athlete to do it really, really well. You're going to be surrounded by strong men that have done it in the past. And we all know that we can't be fathers alone. We don't have to do fatherhood alone. And when you get into an arena or a space in a combat sport situation, it's different than any other sport. Basketball, football, baseball, it's incredibly different. And the outcomes are going to be discipline and focus. It's also going to teach them how to be mentally resilient. No matter what age they are, they're going to have to overcome some things mentally, because when you're matched up against another kid, it is really, really tough, especially if that kid is more experienced than your kid. But take the bumps along the way, because they're going to be mentally tough. They're going to be able to withstand any pressure, whether it's school, whether it's peer pressure, whether it's they're trying to overcome a situation, an adverse event in another sport. They're going to understand, and they're going to be able to pull that tool from their toolbox to be mentally tough in those moments. I will tell you this, once you put your kid in combat sports and you give them the tools and the training to be able to defend themselves, if your kid is being bullied at school, not anymore. Because they're going to be confident in the skills that they have to stand up for themselves and protect themselves if they're ever in a bad situation. And finally, it creates strong bonds. Usually combat sports are looked at as an individual sport, but there's nothing individual about it. The men and your teammates that you're surrounded with, the camaraderie there is unlike any other sport. I can promise you that. I grew up playing football. I grew up playing basketball. My kids all play baseball. And I can tell you this, there's nothing like combat sports. And sure, I understand the risks that are involved, but if you give them the proper training, you give them the proper gear, you work with them on the side, they're going to be able to protect themselves against the risk. So if you want to be in that good dad club, then let your kids play combat sports. Fatherhood Secrets. Cheers.